I'm here falsely accused for a 21-year-old Warren. And I try to speak, and she acts like Judge Judy. She just constantly cuts you off, is threatening. And if you look at the TV show Judge Judy, this is how she acts, Judge. And I'm just being treated like I'm just a criminal. I'm supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, right? And I would like an investigation as to things that's been going on by the prosecutor's office, because Kim Worthy and her subordinates are retaliating against me. There's actual proof. But she has an attitude like Judge Judy. She just cuts you off. And I'm just like, so when she kept doing it, this is when I objected and asked her to recuse herself.
All right, everyone. Today we're taking a look at one of the most unusual courtroom moments we've covered so far. The individual in this case is back in court following a previous preliminary hearing with Judge Martin. During that hearing, he began sharing the common beliefs associated with the sovereign citizen movement. Things got tense quickly. He claimed he wasn't being treated fairly and even requested that Judge Martin step down from the case, saying she kept interrupting him whenever he tried to speak. He felt she wasn't giving him a fair chance to explain his side and compared her behavior to a TV courtroom personality. It's definitely a strange exchange, and you really have to see it to understand just how off track it got. Watch the clip and let us know in the comments. Do you think he has a valid point, or is he simply out of touch with how the legal system works? Let's take a closer look.
Sir.
Colonel Michael McQuarrie, appearing in propria persona.
All right. To my understanding, sir, you filed a motion to have Judge Bryant disqualified from the case. Judge Bryant denied your motion, and essentially your motion was appealed up to the chief judge, which is me. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct.
Okay. Argument.
Well, the argument is, sir, under Michigan Code of Judicial Conduct, the judge is in violation of Canon 1 and 2 because I'm here falsely accused for a 21-year-old Warren. And I try to speak, and she acts like Judge Judy. She just constantly cuts you off, is threatening, so far as be quiet. Canon 2, it says public confidence in the judiciary is eroded by irresponsible and improper conduct by judges. A judge must avoid all impropriety and appearance of impropriety. A judge must expect to be the subject of constant public scrutiny. A judge must therefore accept restrictions on conduct that might be viewed as burdensome by the ordinary citizen and should do so freely and willingly, Judge. And I come into court very respectful. I'm a 51-year-old man, and I respect the system. But I'm feeling that I'm being given, disrespect. I'm being silenced. I mean, I have a right under the free speech to petition the court for redress of grievances and things of that nature. And if you look at the TV show Judge Judy, this is how she acts, Judge. Totally wrong. And she asked me, what did I want to do with the case? I said, I would like to challenge jurisdiction because I went to prison in 2002 for 15 years and 8 months. They had under the rule, I believe for misdemeanors, 40-something days, for felonies is 6 months. So I request that the prosecutor prove its authority in bringing these charges so late. And I have been home 6.5 years, productive in the community, no problems. And I'm trying to do right, Judge. I made past mistakes when I was a young man. And I'm just being treated like I'm just a criminal. I'm supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, right? So I'm not trying to disrupt this court. I'm not trying to cause you guys hardships or anything, things of that nature. And my due process is being violated, Judge. That's all. I want to just get this case so it wouldn't be left alone. I'm a grandfather. I have children. And their DPD has retaliated against me, Judge. And I know this is a Detroit police court. And I would like an investigation as to things that's been going on by the prosecutor's office because Kim Worthy and her subordinates are retaliating against me. There's actual proof.
So here's what the man is basically saying. The prosecutor was just doing their job trying to send me back to prison. Can we just drop the whole case? I'm a grandfather, I have kids, and I deserve a break. But let's be honest, that's not how the justice system works. Just because someone has a family doesn't mean the court can overlook serious charges. Judges don't hand out free passes based on personal circumstances. Judge Martin is known to be fair and professional. She's not someone who holds grudges over someone's past. Her job is to apply the law fairly and ensure justice is done. Sympathy can't take the place of responsibility. What do you think? Is he making a good point or just trying to win over the judge by appealing to emotion? Let's keep going and see what happens next.
At this point, I don't know if you're familiar with Bill Proctor. He's representing me in this matter and another matter so far as investigations for years of, hardships and tyranny committed against me by the system here in Wayne County. So this is all I want, a fair shake judge, a judge who's going to give me due process and give me what I'm entitled to according to law. And that's it, sir.
Okay. Ms. Ritter, would you like to respond in any way?
Judge, the only response that people have is that this is a case from 2002. It's a misdemeanor assault and battery case. Judge, from my recollection of the prior hearing with Judge Bryant, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it was an arraignment process. And as the court was trying to proceed with the process, I do remember Mr. McCreary interrupting the judge while she was trying to make the record. But the people have not gotten to the point where, because Mr. Carnell was disruptive during the proceedings, the people didn't get to the point where there was another pretrial date set where the people could actually see if we're able to move forward on this 2002 case, Judge.
May I have a rebuttal?
Yes.
Okay, Judge, I would like you, if it's possible, I know you guys are on Zoom, so you should have access to recordings of these hearings and things of that nature. I believe that the prosecutor just fabricated facts to you because I was not rude to this lady. All I asked her is, she said, what do you want to be done with this case? I said, I would like to challenge jurisdiction. And Michigan and federal law requires once jurisdiction is challenged, it must be proven. How is it that the prosecutor knows statute of limitations? They're licensed. I'm not licensed. I've studied for years in prison. And they don't know that there's a statute of limitations. This is vindictive prosecution because of my complaints against Kim Worthy, Your Honor. And the record will reflect the evidence. And I object to her statements.
All right. Court having had a chance to hear the arguments of the moving party, as well as the arguments of the prosecutor. The moving party is asking for a recusal or to have Judge Bryant disqualified based on Michigan Canons 1 and 2, based on that she is biased, as well as is not allowing a person to be able to basically argue their case. The moving party is stating that he wants to challenge jurisdiction and that he was not allowed to do so. The prosecutor is stating that there was only a proceeding at an arraignment and that the prosecution hasn't even got to the point where they have established whether they want to move forward with the case, but that was not allowed to happen because in their view, there was disruption in the court and there was a breakdown.
From what it sounds like, if this man had just stayed quiet and let the judge handle the hearing, things might have gone very differently. Judge Bryant was likely ready to simply arraign him and possibly dismiss the case altogether, especially since it dates back over 20 years. So the big question is, why derail that process by interrupting and challenging the court's authority? It seems like he may have made things much harder for himself. Sometimes people involved in the sovereign citizen movement create unnecessary complications by refusing to follow basic legal procedures. It's honestly confusing. If the case was that old, Judge Bryant, who has a solid reputation for fairness, might have been inclined to drop it. But instead, this man chose to push back at the worst possible moment. Do you think there's more to his reasoning, or was this just another example of someone overthinking a simple situation? Let's jump back in and see what happened next.
The moving party is disputing that. He's saying that I could go to the video or the tapes to dispute that. At this time, the court is not going to make a decision at this point. I am going to pull the tape, pull the transcript. I'm going to make a decision very quickly on this. I'm not going to let this continue. And even based on, the court does have an opinion probably on the likelihood of prosecution on a 21-year-old case. So we're going to come back on, we're going to come back on July 6th at 10 a.m. Please check your schedule, sir.
May I also, you say July 6th, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. May I also, if I may, Judge?
Check your schedule first. Check your schedule to see if are you available for that time.
I'm available. I'm stuck here on tether, sir. I'm available at any time you guys want me to.
Okay. All right. Put it on your schedule for 10 o'clock on July 6th.
Okay, can I say one more thing? If you look at Crampton versus Michigan Department of State 395, Michigan 347 at 351, it says the United States Supreme Court disqualified judges and decision makers without a showing of actual bias in situations where experience teaches that the probability of actual bias on the part of the judge or decision maker is too high to be constitutionally tolerable. And I'm not saying like trying to attack Judge Bryant or whatever else, but she has an attitude like Judge Judy. She just cuts you off. And I'm just like, so when she kept doing it, this is when I objected and asked her to recuse herself.
And sir, and again, as the chief judge, I don't have to have a showing of actual bias, but perceived bias, something in the fairness of justice. That is my stand.
Yeah, it's pretty clear the chief judge is going to have to take a good look at this situation. Honestly, it probably won't take long for this man to realize he made things harder for himself. He came across as combative, interrupting the judge, being disrespectful, and creating unnecessary drama. It seems like he believed the judge was being unfair just because she didn't immediately dismiss the case. But the truth is, she might have been about to do just that, if he had simply let her finish. Sometimes people get in their own way by not allowing the process to play out. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see the full court video with Judge Martin. I plan on posting that later this week. These cases involving so-called sovereign citizens always seem to follow the same pattern. They push back against the system, and when things don't go their way, it quickly unravels. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your continued support. Stay tuned. More content is on the way. Take care, everyone.